We had toughness last night, and now today we're looking at the toughest Bears of all time and on the current Bears, plus top 5 keys to the Bears 2025 season. So much to do, so little time. CHGO Bears Podcast starts right now. Welcome in to the CHGO Bears Podcast on a beautiful, amazing, productive Tuesday alongside my good friend, my tough compadre who comes out to softball, Patrick Norton, who's dominating for us with the written content, sitting in with us today. And over there, my handy, dandy, trusty, unbelievable friend, partner, and just mentor, Gregory P.
Jordan admirer.
Jordan admirer. Today, the P stands for
playoffs.
Didn't come to softball. All right.
Thank you to Patrick Norton. The P stands for Patrick because
that's
he's
true.
Putting a wedge between us finally to separate us.
It's a necessary barrier.
So thank you.
Thank
you for that.
So we just got to dive into it here. I woke up this morning and I'm thinking about in this Bears football quiet time. I know we had a trade. We'll get into the New York Giants, Darren Waller whole situation here in a second. But anyway, the last night it was the 6-0 CHGO softball team versus 6-0 Odyssey, and Patrick, who's our newest acquisition, finally let me know that he's good at softball. Thank God, because nobody else around here wants to play. Norton went 3 for 3 last week. He didn't get any hits last night, but early.
What happened?
No, he didn't. Well, what happened was early in the game, out in right field, playing every position known to man, he tweaked. What'd you do? You blew out your calf. You tweaked your calf. You did something.
My quad.
The quad.
Yeah.
Early game quad injury, Steven.
Not great.
Not great. And he comes to me after an inning. He's like, listen, I can't move, but you can't get me out of this game. I still want to hit, and I'll go out there and give you everything I can. He's stretching it out and whatnot. And so as the protective manager that I am, I didn't put him back in the field, but he did continue to swing basically on one leg and battle through it. And I thought to myself, I've never seen that level of toughness on the 16-inch softball field in a co-ed media league, and that level of toughness.
I care.
Yeah, you care.
I care.
You weren't going to let the team down.
No.
I was there. I could have stepped in. I asked twice. You said no both times, perhaps to the detriment of the team. That's okay. You channeled your brags right there, but I love that toughness. And I thought to myself, why don't we talk about the toughest Chicago Bears of all time? That's the brilliance that I bring to the table, Brags. Mm-hmm. Norton to Butkus to toughness to Bears.
I like it. Congratulations to your toughness, and
thank you.
So did you guys win?
No, we didn't win. We lost 6-4, and this might be slightly stunning to some people out there, but we are officially the most hated team in the league. The entire league hates us, mainly because of one of our players who's a little bit Brags-like. So we're working on that, but we are straight up despised. And I would like to tell everybody that's playing that softball league that watches this show. I'm assuming that's no one, but in case there is somebody out there, we are going to do better. We will be better. We will be more likable, and we also are going to win the league again because every year we've lost to Odyssey in the regular season, and then we go out and beat them in the playoffs. Okay. That's good. That's the best team, though. It ain't going to be easy this year, Bragsy.
You guys didn't win, but you know how our viewers can win, right? That's by becoming a diehard.
Thank you, Greg.
You still have an opportunity to get our great deal right now here. Yeah.
Make your move.
Make your move. Thank you, Patrick.
You're welcome.
Norton. The Make Your Move deal. You can see the QR code here on your screen. $36 to sign up. You get exclusive written content, and that's why it's important for you Bears fans right now. Get on this deal now before we get to training camp. We are July 1st. It's officially training camp month. It's officially the same month that an NFL football game will be played. We are 3 weeks away from camp, so this is the best time to sign up to become a diehard. ALLCHGO.com/sign up, ALLCHGO.com/diehard, or the QR code on your screen. Any of those will take you to it. Like I said, exclusive written content, discounts on events like our tailgates for every home game, and then, of course, discounts on merchandise. You get a free shirt as soon as you sign up. So a lot of different reasons why you should become a diehard, but now is the best time to do it.
Yep. I see a lot of stuff in the comments right now. Robert Lee, my main man, hope we sign our second rounder sooner than later. We're actually going to have a conversation with that later in the week.
We do that every year, though. So
we'll get it done.
We'll get it.
But just know that is coming later. Eric Edholm from the NFL Network is going to be with us on Thursday. Tomorrow, should I say this? Stephen? Can I say it? I can say it.
He can say it.
Okay. You have to work with me a little bit today, but tomorrow, be here. That's right. It is officially going to be Tyson Bagent Day tomorrow, right here on this program. We have been working long and hard on it, and I was working on the written piece this morning. I'm getting all the feedback from all the brilliant people here, so I'll be finishing that up later today. That'll be available for the diehards. I assume we're going to make that a diehard piece. I'm probably talking a little bit out of pocket, or what do you think? Is that a diehard piece?
I think so.
Probably a diehard piece. So yet another reason. Because there's a lot of stuff that that you'll find very interesting, and stuff that's been behind the scenes of our 2 days spent in Shepherdstown, West Virginia. But without further ado, to follow up on the topic of the day, we are doing the top 5 as we start out our top 5 day. Top 5 toughest Chicago Bears on the current roster. Your 2025 Chicago Bears. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to tell you all right now, admittedly, this was not an easy exercise.
No.
This is not the toughest team in the history of the NFL. I know there's a new NFL going on here, but when you think about the toughest Bears of all time, that's a tough one to get into 5. It's a little more challenging to find 5 tough guys, really tough guys. Well,
they got to find some toughness this year. Last year, they didn't exhibit some great toughness, but it was a tough year, and those come with a lot of challenges physically and mentally. Obviously, there was a lot of injuries. I think when we talk about toughness, it goes beyond just the injury scale. It's more about, your toughness and the way you play and your mental toughness. And I was as big of an advocate as anyone last year that this team needed to find another level of mental toughness. So let's hope they find that this year. Would you like to agree with everything you say there? The mental toughness part is going to be a huge key here. Physical toughness, all the toughness. I think Dennis Allen is an interesting sort of driver of that toughness, as far as a very intense defensive coach is going to let guys. The whole coaching staff, really.
Yeah, sure. Fair enough. But he's got a different level of.
Different edge.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah. Different edge. Pat, you want to start out here and give us your top 5 toughest current Chicago Bears?
Sure. Number 1 overall, I had Andrew Billings, and that's because just right up the middle, he's the one who's taken the brunt of every rushing attack, and he has been a staunch member of that defense. Through their ups and downs, you look at their running totals, you look at the injuries that he's played through, and then he finally tears the pec last year. And can't really go any further than that. And he'll be back this year, and they need him up the middle.
You saw the fall off when he got hurt
big time.
From that defense.
Big time. So. And you know who else saw the fall off? Ben Johnson, who specifically said when he was hired, Billings is a key player in that defense, and we attacked the run game, especially when we saw him go down.
Okay.
Number 2, Caleb Williams. Tough to not call you tough when you're battered all year and you take 68 sacks, regardless of whose fault that is. Got up every single time, never really let any pain show, and you had to think that he was feeling it through a few times, right?
Well, he didn't. The pain part, no. The mental toll of the season, he let that out a couple of times, which has been addressed many times. And
he's the first quarterback to play a full season in quite some time. I'd have to go back and look, but I know it's even before like 2010. Like so.
Cutler never did it.
What's that?
I don't think Cutler
never did it.
Yeah.
I think it was in the
about that?
early yes. Because if you look, the 1 year where Cutler could have, they sat him the final game,
Jimmy
of the year,
Clausen.
so that was not on his own will. So like I said,
You are correct. The most he ever started. No, not correct. You're not correct. I knew you were wrong. I knew you.
2009.
Yeah,
pre-2010.
Okay.
2009.
Well,
I knew
right.
it was around there.
But he started 16 games in 09, 15 and 10, 10 and 11, 15 and 12, 11 and 13, and then 3 more years, 15, 15, and then his last year.
But Cutler's
5.
Cutler's somebody I continue to go back as a similarity to Caleb Williams in terms of toughness and taking a lot of sacks, getting back up. And I think you're right when it comes to Caleb, who maybe not everybody would put on the list for whatever reason, but when you get up from 68 sacks and play the whole season, not just a 16-game season, a 17-game season, that speaks volumes.
Number 3 on that list, you're exactly right. But we'll get into the history of Bears players who are tough too. But number 3 on the current team, I thought of Darnell Wright, and that's because look at the game last year against, I want to say, the Raiders, or 2 years ago against the Raiders. He's playing on one arm. His shoulder's completely busted. He's guarding he's blocking Max Crosby, and he's doing it. And he's doing like these stunts and everything just with one arm and these jabs with only the one arm and held his own. That to me, that's tough. I took this route in a more physical toughness than a mental toughness way, because that to me is what this team lacks more of than the mental toughness, because I think that they added players and a coaching staff who can really help in that area. It's tough for a coaching staff to add a physical edge to players if they don't already have that kind of motor in them.
No, you got to have the motor. There's no doubt about it. 100%. That is not a surgery that can be accomplished. It doesn't work that way.
I also had Jaquan Brisker on here.
Mm-hmm.
Ton of concussions, ton of other injuries, bounces back. He's going to play this year. Even if it's against his best interests or whatever, he wants to play. That's tough.
Stupidness. I mean, you have to have that. Stupidness is a rude way of saying it, but you have whatever category you want to put it in. Somebody who it is against your best interest to be out there, but I'm still going to go out there and do it because I love the sport so much. I think that is a key component to somebody being tough. You could speak on this. As the resident.
What's his name that calls for WWF back in the day with no regard for human life?
Right.
Yeah.
Kevin Harlan.
Maybe it was Kevin Harlan.
But that's what that is. It's just he's had now 5 total concussions in his life, at least, with 2 back at Penn State and now 3 in the pros, and that's just something to kind of keep an eye on for him. But if he wants to go back out there, good for him. Yep. I also thought of Joe Thuney, and I think you might have Joe Thuney on your list as well, but.
Now you were on my list.
Oh, well, yeah, it's over. The thing with Thuney for me is he's played through it all in Kansas City, played through it all in New England. You had to drag him off the field a couple years ago in the playoffs for Kansas City. And even when he was hurt 2 years ago, or maybe 3, that was when they were switching him around and he was playing different positions on the line that he hadn't played all year, because that's just the type of player who he is.
He better be. Let's put it this way: if he is a model of toughness on the offensive line, a model of consistency and dominance, a model of just professionalism week in and week out, that could be the exact transformation that specific room needs. It was why he's here. So I'm going to bet that he's going to do that. Good list, good solid list.
Thank you,
List.
Gregory.
I'll buzz through my list here since I kept talking during Patrick's list. We did have some multiples here. Andrew Billings. I continue to say he's been one of my favorite players the last few years on the Bears. He shows his toughness every single time he's out on that football field. He was supposed to just be a run stuffer, finds his way to get to the quarterback even. He's just an animal out there. Love Andrew Billings. Grady Jarrett. I had him on this list because I get the sense that he's the type of guy that if I'm in a fight in the trenches, if I'm out on a street fight, I want Grady Jarrett on my side. Just feels like the type of guy you want in your corner. Joe Thuney is more the, I think from an offensive line standpoint, you're always going to play with the physicality and toughness. But I think Joe Thuney also has that mental toughness, a guy that has been to the playoffs every year of his career, except for one, been to the Super Bowl with Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. It takes a lot of mental toughness to get over the hump and win a championship. And so Joe Thuney is on my list. Jalen Johnson, lockdown corner. You got to have a lot of toughness and mental toughness to play on the outside. You're playing on an island. Nobody wants to throw to Jalen Johnson's side, and rightfully so. And then my final guy that I put on this list is Kyle Monungai. And I'm going to continue to bang the Monungai drum. I don't care what anyone else tries to bully me out of. Oh, we're hyping him up too much. No, this is a guy that played for Rutgers and led the Big Ten in rushing 2 years ago, was second in the Big Ten in rushing last year to only Caleb Johnson. I don't think Rutgers, all due respect, have a quarterback that you're really too worried about. So you're seeing a lot of guys in the box trying to stuff Kyle Monungai, and I don't really think the Rutgers are putting out an Iowa-type offensive line like Caleb Johnson had behind him, again, with all due respect. So Kyle Monungai, I think, is going to show it very quickly that this dude's got a lot of toughness, and I think Eric Bieniemy's the perfect guy to bring it out of him. So that is my top 5 list.
I mean, anybody who makes it to the NFL at that size, you had to spend a ton of time in the gym making yourself rock solid. I mean, the dude is straight ripped, and he's got to run people over. He doesn't have the burner speed.
No,
it's a good underlining of a Monungai. Now, we kind of want to see him do it in a Bears uniform, be that NFL tough. But so you're putting the cart before the horse a little bit there, buddy.
Nope, I'm not.
Also, we learned that Braggs just doesn't appreciate Art Sitkowski or Giovanni Rossino, couple Rutgers quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's really rude.
Oh.
That is quite a pull there.
Thank you.
Patrick.
Thank you.
That's why Patrick is dominating on our website. He's also putting out our newsletter every single day that comes in your email inbox. Does that go to just diehards? How does that work?
No, that's to everybody. The newsletter is free. You can sign up for it at allchgo.com/newsletter. Thank you very much for the plug.
And it's a great way to start your day. Right out of the gates when you wake up, or maybe you click on it at 9 o'clock and you just see what's going on in the sports world. It's a comfortable, friendly read. It's like the throw blanket that's hanging on your couch, and you just throw it on when you need it, and every time it just comes and wins. You're a throw blanket. That's a beautiful thing. Should I give mine right now, and then we'll get to the okay. Going quick. Mark Carman, the Carm. Yours truly, top 5 toughest Bears. No surprise here. TJ Edwards makes every single tackle. You throw your head in there the way he does on a weekly basis. You deserve on this list, TJ. I think almost criminally underrated. Sign an extension, which was very team friendly. Thank you to TJ for doing that. TJ Edwards, you're the man. You've got toughness. Jaquan Brisker. Hey, listen, if I was you, I would have retired. You're still out there putting yourself in harm's way, and you get concussed. Everybody knows you're concussed except for apparently Matt Eberflus at the time. They put you back out there. You say you can play, and then in reality, you were so concussed that you didn't play for the rest of the season. You still tried to play football. That's a level of toughness that's it's scary, but also impressive.
You're more than welcome to retire.
I know. Don't worry. Just a couple more years and you can have this spot. This is not for life. Number 3, and honestly, he probably should be number 1, and you forget about him. But the dude that has not missed a game in his entire Bears career, Cole Kmet, is as tough as they come here. Dude's playing through. You get banged up every single week, blocking, catching, nearly wasn't going to make it through a knee injury, but toughed his way out. By the way, hey, the center got hurt. Let me go snap the football for you. You need me to literally do anything? I'm there for you. And also, Cole Kmet, tremendous partner here. Dude shows up freaking early for interviews. No athlete in history. That's tough. You got to wake up and come in here and stare at this guy and actually talk to him for 30 minutes. That's super tough. Cole Kmet, you actually deserve to be number 1, but I got you 3 on the list.
Patrick just caught a stray.
He did?
Yeah.
What stray?
I didn't lean back far enough or quick enough, so then it looked like you were pointing at me and not Braggs. But I know that you were pointing at Braggs.
Yeah. Jalen Johnson. My apologies.
Bullet.
Jalen Johnson. Hey, listen, you. That dude is Jalen is ripped. Jalen spends a ton of time in the gym. Jalen his toughness for me is in the fact that he literally wants to take on the best player each week. Give me no help. Put me on an island. I'm the man. I'm the best cornerback in the game. I believe in myself. And that dude would have walked out the door, by the way, 5 times over if the Bears hadn't paid him. There's a certain level of toughness and belief in himself there of the player that he is. Jalen deserves some massive respect for what he does week in and week out. I know he's missed some games, but that shoulder feels like it's going to pop, just fall off, and he's still out there. Jalen, tough as hell. And then my number one guy, sure, I'm biased, but I don't know anyone on this team that is doing CrossFit back-to-back days, invites me to his house in West Virginia, and literally has transformed his body into ways that we will talk about in great length tomorrow that I don't want to give away right now. But
talk about Bajan's body at great length tomorrow. Tune in, everyone.
Yeah. That'll move the needle.
Like a great show.
That'll move the needle. You know what's tough, Greg?
What's that?
It's called consistency. It's called doing it day in and day out, putting your very best foot forward, being the guy that runs that rep harder and farther than anybody else on the team. There is a certain level of toughness. By the way, there's a toughness in raising yourself up from Shepherdstown, West Virginia. Not the easiest of upbringings. Coming out of and saying, you know what, I could transfer to the big school, but I ain't doing that because I don't want to go to class and give up a ton of credits to graduate. I'll do it right from here. Tyson Bagent, you ever get an opportunity to start in this league, you're going to play game after game after game after game because your body is just built that way. So, yes, Bagent tough, baby. He gets the number 1 slot in the Carm Tough Chicago Bears 2025 list. All right, we're going top 5 all-time coming up, and we've got your top 5 reasons for the Bears' success coming is on a top 5 Tuesday. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, tell a friend. Thank you, by the way, as we just passed 85,000 subscribers on YouTube. Did that in the Bulls show yesterday. Appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. We are back with the top 5 Bears of all time in 2 minutes.
Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors, even Mark Carman, are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside has everything you need to elevate your summer. It's a one-stop shop for all your cannabis needs. Sunnyside has an expertly curated menu with over 100 strains to choose from, plus easy online ordering and in-store pickup. They've got dispensaries all over the city. Locations in Wrigleyville, right down the street from the Marquee. They've got them in the suburbs, Champaign, all over the place. So visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter the promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright buys every day, only for 21 or older or Illinois medical card holders. For existing users, use the promo code CHGO50 for 50% off one Cresco Labs brand item.
And shout out to our newest sponsor, Arena Club. If you're looking to buy, sell, trade, or just rip open a pack of cards, Arena Club is changing the hobby with their transparent slab packs, no fee auctions. You got to check out the slab packs. You would love a good slab pack. You can rip the pack for as low as $25. You should not laugh about that. He loves a slab pack. You can hit on a card that's worth tens of thousands of dollars more. You need money. I need money. Patrick needs money. Arena Club, the most trusted name in the game. And if you're heading, by the way, to the 45th National Sports Collectors Convention, be sure to stop by the Arena Club booth. Find out more what I'm talking about. Right now, you can get 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/CHGO. arenaclub.com. Use the code CHGO. Arena Club, you're on board. My new favorite thing in the show is watching Braggs watch me doing the ad read and just the level of contempt on his face for me. The blatant hatred is really it's you're such an honest guy. I really appreciate that out of you.
No problem. I hate you.
Ooh, woo. Honesty is the best. Honesty is the best policy. Patrick, do you think that what do you think about all this? Can you play therapist for a second? Just I know people.
Sure. Tell me about your problems today.
Well,
my problem is Mark Carman.
Well, I know your problems. I don't need to hear your problems.
Yeah. So no, I mean, I just feel like I give a lot of love, and it's just not reciprocated. And I'm here to mock, but also to uplift at the same time. And I just don't think that Greg sees me accurately.
Greg?
Yeah, well, I think that Mark is...
Say something nice about Mark.
Say something nice about Mark?
Yeah. This is great how uncomfortable he is. This is fantastic. This is good theater.
I think Mark is a very unique thinker. He
Thinker.
Keeps everyone on their toes, and that's what I love about him.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
Yeah. Thank you. Well done. All right, let's do this.
I like his hair that he copied off of Adam Hogue from.
So I am anybody who's saying that I am taking offense. This hair is not has nothing to do with Hogue hair. Shout out Hogue. The Hogue has just because everybody that puts their hair back is a Hogue. You kind of have a flip back too. Are you a Hogue?
Am I a Hogue?
You're not a Hogue.
No, you're not.
Steven is his own form of something over there. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Steven, what do you tell the barber?
He's got the serial killer cut.
Give me a circle for a head.
Did you just call me a watermelon for a head over there? I don't want to hear it.
All right, we're not a comfortable land. This is my fault. Let's get back on track. Top 5 toughest Chicago Bears of all time. Now, this is a tough exercise.
You know what I love about you, Mark, is you make me look normal.
Do I?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I don't know. Yeah. I don't think that is really possible in any way. All right. We got to keep this on track for a little wasted because he wants to stay on board here, and especially the Dirty Dog. Dirty Dog, always good to see you. And who's the Dirty Dogs list? He's got Butkus, Mongo. I can't see. Okay, see that's the thing. Like you can't
be doing later.
It's hard to go
Dirty
wrong.
Dog.
All right. Just keep moving.
Already did the Dirty Dog. All right. I start early. So moving along, who wants to go first here? Open forum.
I'll go. Well,
yeah,
no,
Braggs, you go first.
Let's split it up. You two, one of you two go first. I'll go in the middle.
All right. You want me? Hey, Pat, you're up. I see
All right.
yours on there. Yes, go
All
first.
right, and I also saw the feedback. I have to go from 5 to 1. Number 5, Jim McMahon doesn't get enough love on these tough lists. Think about the game against the Vikings in 1985. Comes in, requests to come in, and what does he do? He immediately brings them back into the game. They're down, I think, 17-9 at that point in the game. Throws a touchdown to Willie Gault, 70 yards. You would know.
Yes,
I
I would, and it was an unbelievable block by somebody else who's on that list. Walter Payton stepping in on an all-out blitz.
Oh my gosh!
He had not practiced all week. He was begging Ditka on the sideline the whole time. Put me in. We're going to lose the game. Finally, in the third quarter, Ditka says, "Okay, punky QB, go out there." 3 touchdown passes on a Thursday night. It was the first time in my life that the Bears were the team that did stuff like that. And you just knew that they were the best team in football. And they went on, of course, to win the Super Bowl that year. It was one of that moment that you're talking about
That's
maybe
the moment. That's the
my
moment
favorite
I'm
moment.
hoping we experience this year. Is where you watch an offense play football that we've never seen before here in this city, and we can say this is the first time in our lives we've ever seen this, and that it's different.
They beat the Dallas Cowboys that year 44-0. You're beating the Dallas, and Dallas was, the team at that point that were always on every Sunday. John Madden, Pat Summerall, my favorite broadcasting crew of all time. The Cowboys were always in and it was the Cowboys and the Niners, and like the Bears weren't even a thought in that, and they killed them.
We do have a chance to do that this year, and we play the Cowboys and we play the 49ers.
That's true.
Right?
They do.
Bring it on, Flus. Okay, keep going.
You have the rest of my list anywhere? Because my computer's down. All right. I had, thank you, Doug Atkins, an unsung hero kind of a thing. Still a Hall of Famer, but not talked about enough. Dick Butkus kind of always gets is the heralded member of those early 60s teams with the Bears. When Doug Atkins had one heck of a career. What what I thought is kind of interesting about him is that I think he had 94.5 sacks in his career. He played something like 17 or 15 years, somewhere around there. But the first half of his career, sacks were not a recorded stat. So what would that number have been had they been allowed to keep that further? I think the record is 200. So I liked Doug Atkins in that 4 spot.
Good old number 81, originally drafted by the Cleveland Browns, played 2 years in Cleveland, then the middle of his career with the Bears. And the sack totals, you're right. They did not count sacks from 53 to 59. Started counting them in 60, 9.5, 9, 10.5, 12, 5, 10.5, and 8. 94.5 for his career, as you said. He finished up with the Saints. Good. I love that you're busting out at Doug Atkins. That's awesome.
I think it was something like 74 of the 205 games that he played in his career were without recording sacks, or as a stat. Number 3 and number 2 go together in this one, and that's Matt Suhey and that's Walter Payton. Walter Payton is in a league of his own in terms of toughness, but Matt Suhey put his body on the line every single game for Walter Payton and for that Bears offense, and it's and it was tough to find someone who could kind of go hand in hand with him. You can probably better speak to the play. What was the play in which Matt Suhey gets absolutely creamed?
I'm trying to
against the Packers. I know that for sure.
Interesting, Matt.
Matt Suhey gets absolutely blasted after a play. It's a dirty hit, and Peyton's the first one who's up for him, and Suhey is right there, and he bounces right back up too. And then there's a play also. I don't think it's from the same game. It might be, but almost as like a like retribution. Is Peyton against the Packers in '85? Mark Lee brings him out of bounds, is hitting him late. And so Peyton, what does he do? Peyton grabs Mark Lee and drags him by the collar over the bench with him. And that's another always on the championship video.
That one I remember. And it was apparently, I just had it here. How did I just, Ken Stills was the
Ken Stills. Thank you. Yeah.
It was a rookie from Wisconsin. Whatever, Ken
dang
Stills.
Badgers.
Yeah.
Those no good. Yeah, those no good Badgers.
What you expect? That's amazing. Was that. I'm watching it right now. Was that the one where that
Morgan
spilled all the way
Wallen
over?
come out with a Ken Stills jersey on.
What?
Morgan Wallen. He was at Wisconsin Badger Stadium. He came out in a Joe Thomas jersey.
Okay.
I was just.
I didn't know the backstory.
Hogue was there.
I'm going to need Carm to sit in between me and Braggs by the end of the show.
Oh my God. Okay, for those who don't remember the play, Suhey puts a block in there for Walter, and the play's basically over and dead. Walter's on the ground, and then Stills comes in and just corrects the hell out of him.
Yeah. That's one that my dad kind of made sure was ingrained in my head growing up.
Yeah.
And then number 1, how can you not have Steve McMichael? And I know that we'll kind of all get into Steve McMichael, and I don't know who wouldn't have him on their list, but they Mongo played 101 straight games, got the crap beat out of him every single game, and was a Chicago legend, and then battled ALS for as long as he did, and kept going and kept the fight on until he made the Hall of Fame. God bless him. And I don't know how he can't be at the top of anybody's list.
Mm-hmm.
So Bragg, there's no doubt Mongo's at the top of my list too, but I don't want to spoil my list. Braggs did it a little bit different here, just honoring his era growing up Bears as he will do.
Do we want to tease it and throw it to a break, or do we want to?
Yeah, let's tease it. It's so good that you.
It's so good.
It's so good.
It's outside the box thinking.
You shouldn't go anywhere.
Carm inspired me to think outside the box like he does every day here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's getting thick. Let's get even thicker. Can you stop squeaking the chair, you weirdo?
Jesus.
I mean, that literally was the 6-year-old. This is a professional broadcast being watched on television.
Well, you said you did
my parents are watching.
You said
Braggs.
you did the dirty dog this morning.
Stop it. Stop.
Oh boy, is it training camp yet?
But first.
Whatever the sport The app to bet is Circa Sports Illinois. Circa Sports, it's sports betting like it should be. Patrick Norton, all you fine people out there. Circa Sports Illinois has high betting limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. They take care of you, the people. Bet on all your favorite teams in every game this season, even the Chicago Cubs, who are going to win their division this year. I promise. Spreads, props, futures, or in-game. Circa Sports has it. Fun and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. And I know the number one thing that I'm going to be doing when we go to Las Vegas September 28th for Bears versus Raiders, we are going to hit up the Circa Casino, hit up the Circa Swim, and we're going to be laying down some good bets on the Chicago Bears. Can't wait for it.
Can't wait to see you in that Speedo. Why don't you put on those glasses behind you? Shady Rays, what's up? You know that moment? Yeah, it's the one when you realize that you left your sunglasses at the beach or perhaps on the Metro train this morning. Whoops. No. Roof of your car, anywhere, gas station. Hey, we've been there. I'm there. You can look as good as Braggs and get those glasses right back. Because, they'll find you a new pair of Shady Rays just like that. Look at that. Sunglasses made for real life in the moment. Seriously, this guy's never looked better than he looks right now. They are polarized. They're durable. They are stupidly inexpensive. Man, both of y'all. Look at you. You're just looking fantastic. Shady Rays.
Like he's not even here.
Is eyewear that has your back. That's right, you're not. Hey, we've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you the exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com. You can look like these guys. Use the code CHGO. 35% off the polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Shady Rays, the eyewear that has your back. Look at these guys. Shady Rays, you're the best. We appreciate you. Get on. You look like Patrick Norton. Look like Greg Braggs.
Yes, you can look like me.
Who wouldn't want to look like this?
Yeah, there's
Wouldn't want to look like this.
Are you growing that thing back out, by the way? Or
Well, of course I am.
No, but like,
What about the hair?
So
It's going to take a little bit. Give me a couple days.
you got a lot of grays going on in there. Congratulations. That's where you're headed, buddy. Just know this.
I know it.
You want
Every day I work with you, I realize that.
All right, top 5 all time.
Yes.
I'm up. Am I up? Is it
Nope,
me?
I'm up. We teased it.
Oh yeah, that's right. We teased you and your brilliance.
We teased it.
Wow,
that,
I'm here.
Yes. And so I did it a little different because I knew these guys were going to we talked about top 5 all time, but I don't really feel comfortable trying to rank players that I didn't watch in my lifetime. So I stuck to just in my lifetime of players. And of course, I have an affinity for the mid-2000s Bears team. Got to the Super Bowl, Lovie Smith Bears, and beyond here in the last 20 years. So number 5, thank you very much, whoever you were crying about which way we were going 1 through 5. I got Kyle Long, number 5.
Tough as hell.
Tough as nails. One of the most fun players to watch at training camp because that goes right up against Akeem Hicks. Number 4, these two guys battling it out every year at training camp. It was a rite of passage. Once they started fighting at camp 3 weeks in, that's when you knew that football season had officially arrived.
When his career changed and he got injured against Tampa Bay and he's on the cart down there and he's pounding on the cart before they take him off, I was like, this dude is beyond any. This is not a human being. By the way, he's also crushing it on the tennis court nowadays. Check out his Instagram.
I heard he's taking up tennis now,
which is the toughest
You're
sport
gonna have
there
to
is.
Take a trip down there and show him the ropes. My number 3, Peanut Tillman. Love Peanut. Dude should be in the Hall of Fame. When you look at forced fumbles in the NFL, it's like all the greatest middle linebackers of all time, and then sandwiched in between those players is Charles Peanut Tillman. Guy would set you up. Literally, he'd let you catch it because he knew he was going to knock it out and do his vintage peanut punch that is still used to this day. And anytime somebody does it on the broadcast, they say peanut punch. And he's like an FBI agent now. So even after his career, he continues to show his toughness. Number 2, Thomas Jones, probably my favorite running back of all time with the Chicago Bears in my lifetime. Thomas Jones was tough as hell. The Bears should have never got rid of him. He led the way going to the Super Bowl. My favorite moment of the Super Bowl run was in the NFC Championship against the New Orleans Saints. They ran the same play 7 straight times down the New Orleans Saints' throats into the end zone. Shout out to also Jason McKee, because like your Matsui, Jason McKee paved the way every time for Thomas Jones, and teams could not stop it. And then number 1 for me, come on, El Boogie, Lance Briggs. I do shows, luckily get to do shows with him every week, and excited to do another season with him. He was always the toughest. He always was the one getting his head down, jumping the line of scrimmage at the snap count, getting to the quarterback before anybody could get to him, running down guys on the sidelines, laying people out. I know Brian Urlacher gets a lot of love, and rightfully so, but Lance Briggs deserves the recognition. That dude was tough as nails.
A lot of people in the chat are vouching for Olin on that list. You want to explain to them why he's not on there?
No, I agree. Olin deserves to be on that list. If I had omitted maybe Kyle there or Akeem, I could understand where you guys were coming from. There's no question.
You're missing Roberto Garza.
Roberto Garza was
tough
also
as hell.
tough as nails.
Yeah.
So I agree.
Right.
agree.
Before I get to mine, well, actually, let me do it this way. Let me do mine. And I have some. So I was texting one of these tough guys that are on my list, who I could easily make number 1, but it's just this is a very tough list to get to the top 2. So here you go. The Carm top 5 toughest Bears of all time. Impossible list to create. Look, Butkus could be easily number 1 on this. Complete straight lunatic who would dream at night. What was his favorite movie was Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte, which is a movie I don't think anyone's seen, but the highlight in that movie is when the head comes rolling off of whoever gets killed in there, and he used to dream about that. That's in NFL films. The guy was a complete maniac. Dick Butkus could be at the top of this list. Also, that could be at the top of this. Number 4, Dan Hampton. If you've seen Dan Hampton, one finger goes this way, the other finger goes the other way. He'd have surgery on Monday, play on Sunday. 13, 15, whatever it was, knee surgeries. 99 was beyond tough, and just to Hall of Famer, the whole thing. Don't mess with Dan Hampton. Number 3, my guy Ed O'Bradovich, and I did post-game shows with Hamp and OB for 7 years before coming here, so I do have my biases here. But Ed O'Bradovich, 87, 63 championship team. That era in itself. Ed O'Bradovich would get on the flight. He would sit in the last row of the flight. I forget who his partner was back there. I should have that. My apologies. But he'd sit in the last row and literally could not lift his shoulders. Before the game, he'd get him shot up so he can play, so he could lift his shoulders and go out there and kill people. And then after the game, couldn't do it again. Back of the bus. Get back here, trainer. Shoot me up again so the pain would stop, and then he could start to recover for the week. And then he'd go out there and do it again. You watch any old tape, he's sitting there clubbing people with his arm. Ed O'Bradovich was insanity tough. Number 2, and how could you be any tougher than Walter Payton? Did he ever get knocked down and not pop back up? I don't know how he did it. Sweetness was, there's one famous moment where it's after some game. How much longer can you do this, Walter? And he's just like, not long. Not long, because he literally, it was Peyton left, Peyton right, Peyton up the middle, punt. That was the offense with the great Bob Avellini quarterbacking, and somehow, some way, he just took the punishment, dished it out as best as he could, and kept going. Walter Payton could easily be number 1 on this list, but how do you not put Mongo number 1, right? What he went through with ALS, that level of toughness is something that no one can understand. And as far as on the field, Patrick underlined it, played every single game, 100-plus starts in a row, played hurt, in the trenches, alongside Hamp. You can't get any tougher than Mongo. So it's an impossible list to pick the number 1. But I do want to give you a little special extra Carm here from, I texted OB and I asked him, who do you think the toughest Bears are? So he writes, off the top of my head, Mark, I would have to say Sid Luckman, the quarterback. Why? Because he won several world championships when the rules were few and far between. That's an interesting name to have on there. Bulldog Turner was a center who refined how to play offensive center regarding line calls. Shout out Bulldog Turner out of nowhere. Rick Caceres, when you needed 3 yards He never failed. Also, the heavyweight of the Golden Glove Championships of Florida. There's a good running back, fullback.
That's a pull.
That's a pull. And then here he comes. And this was my honorable mention. Mike Ditka. How is he not on this list? Right? Redefined how the tight end position is played then and now. And then he goes with a linebacker, Bill George from Wake Forest. I was an All-Pro 11 straight years out of a 15-year career. Dick Butkus, the true monster of the Midway. Then he talks about Hampton. Dan Hampton, the Danimal. Nobody played defensive tackle before him, during him, and after him. Fearless and relentless. And then to your guy, Doug Atkins. Was 6'8", tall, weighed 280. Nobody played defensive end position the way he did. Would throw offensive tackles around like rag dolls. Bang. And he goes, then he writes, sorry, I went over the number 5. But going back to George Hallis, who started this whole thing, you could probably add another 100 players to that list. I hope this helps you out. OB is just...
I would say the honorable mention for me on all-time list has got to be Doug Plank. You talk about reckless abandon when you mentioned Jaquan Brisker. Doug Plank was that guy.
Tom Waddle.
Tom Waddle,
big time.
In there.
Yeah,
He's in there,
that's
absolutely.
that's an error and omission.
And no one brings up Mike Ditka.
Well,
we just did.
Oh, you did?
We just did a
I was,
comment.
sorry, I was doing a thing over.
Yeah, you're entitled.
All right, Brax.
You're allowed. Yeah, but the Doug Plank thing is sort of like my number one criteria of a football player that I would look for. How fast are you willing to run into that brick wall to tackle someone? Because I don't really care if you're on a 4.4, 4.5, a 4.6, a 4.7. I get that it matters when you're covering and whatnot. But really, at the end of the day, whatever, you get beat over the top, okay, fine, that's going to happen. But what more important to me is how willing are you to put your body in harm's way day in, day out, week in, week out, and literally run into that brick wall right there, because that's what it takes.
I once, Dan Hampton was doing a signing that I was working years back, and I know you're friends with Hampton, and I asked him the hardest hit he ever took, and he said Doug Plank in practice. He's like, it got to a point where we had to like cuss him out and tell him to stop hitting people the way he was in practice because he would play it like the games. Doug was just built different.
Well, and I texted with Ham, too, about the topic. He had Butkus, Walter, Mongo, OB, and he put Bronco Nagurski in there. And then honorable mention, he said Gale Sayers. He said he overcame a lot. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, like
shortest career of a Hall of Famer who played in the Super Bowl era.
Yeah, and look, back then you go get knee surgery. It was the end of a career. Gale came back, wasn't himself, but was able to eke out a couple more years on the field before he finally just couldn't take it anymore and said, "This is it, because I can't be myself."
To just make a point right before we move on, but on your list you mentioned Hampton's hands, and I originally was thinking about putting Hampton in mine, and what I had written down here was shook his hand once, terrified of how mangled that thing was.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
It literally is what I said. One finger goes that way, the other one goes this way, and there's a video of during the Super Bowl run that was in one of the documentaries they put in, and Hamp's at his locker and he's got a cigar, and you could just see his hands are just.
I think he just goes straight down.
Yeah, I mean, and you talk to that guy and
yeah,
and the toughness that he's looking for. On the field, as far as when he critiques the Bears, it's a very, 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 very high hill to run up for him to get respect from that guy as far as pure toughness. Should we do this list today here, Steven? Should we do the top 5 yet, Keys?
It's the headline.
Oh, it's the headline of the show.
50 minutes in, we get to the headline of the show. Well, we've been having fun.
That's it's a good combo here. And
we've been doing the dirty dog.
Sure. Yeah.
Change that to the headline of the show.
I will do none of that.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
This is a professional operation. Thank you for tell a friend, by the way. CHGO Bears Monday to Friday at noon. Pre and post game, any news breaking, and all the Bears content. Don't forget about what's your show called? Does it have a special name? The
CHGO Bears After Dark. We'll be taping another
that
one
to Briggs and Azuma with someone
with Idiot Meatball. Not yet, but we'll get there.
Okay, CHGO Bears After Dark is. I mean, all. And by the way, of course, White Sox, Cubs, Bulls, Blackhawks. Hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend. We appreciate it.
Free agency for basketball and hockey right now.
Right.
Nobody covers it better than our team here at CHGO Sports.
And yeah, they're rolling right now, the Blackhawks show. So we're doing 2 shows at once here, which is why we're in this studio, which is kind of enjoyed the studio today. I'm not gonna lie. The chairs over there, you can't get out. Here, I feel like I'm popped up and ready to go. Ready. I mean, I could do a dance for you. All right. Final topic of the day. This is the top 5 keys to a successful playoff Chicago Bears 2025 season.
Mm-hmm.
Top 5. I like lists, so we're doing this. So this is a list Tuesday. On this one, Gregory, since you are our lead meatball, can you go first, please? And just lead us off to the top 5 keys to the season. Gregory P. Allen Braggs. This P stands for prognosticator. Go ahead. What do we got?
Well, I wasn't the prognosticator here because I was the first to have all my lists finished, and you didn't get yours done until 3 minutes before the show started. So you are the
not even. No, it was during the show.
During
there
the
was
show.
changes made
During the show. So the Gregory P. Allen Braggs, the P for you, my friend, stands for prognosticator. So take that. My
Procrastinator?
list,
Is that what you meant to say?
what did I say?
Prognosticator.
Yeah.
All right, Bragg's
Anyway.
going to work today.
So you thought the whole time that it was procrastination and not
I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
I messed up.
This guy probably didn't graduate high school. I think we need to check that one out. Did he get the G?
Prognostically did not graduate high school. Just everything is.
Now squeaking his chair like he's back in high school about to fail out again. All right, what do you got?
Number 5, the Bears need to respond to adversity. This is one of my top keys to this season. Last year, there was just too many times where it felt like this team was getting punched in the mouth and they didn't know how to respond, starting with that Washington game, and then it continued in divisional games against the Lions, the Packers, and the Vikings at the end of games. They have to show that they can respond to adversity, show that mental toughness that I was talking about earlier, and, really just put their heads down and play as a team, because last year it just felt like a separate locker room in there, and I need to see them play together and play with some toughness. Number 4 for me is got to be, obviously, Caleb gets up to speed on Ben Johnson's offense. This could easily be number 1 for the keys to success of this season. And what I mean by speed isn't just understanding the playbook and understanding all his protections and calls and everything that he talked about that he struggled with last year, from, getting to the line of scrimmage and getting your ducks in a row, but also the speed of the execution of the play. We've already seen this and heard about it at minicamp through your guys' reporting and Ben Johnson talking about, in 7-on-7s where he's talking to Caleb Williams. Hey, did he go to the wrong guy? No, he didn't get the ball out fast enough. He got it to the right guy. So when I talk about up to speed, you need to be playing with a different level of getting the ball out of your hands quicker in this offense, especially with Ben Johnson. So that's certainly going to be a top key. Number 3, this is something I talk about every year, so you'll hear it a lot when we get to training camp in the preseason. Do not rest your starters in the preseason. Play your guys. First game, you only get 3 preseason games now a year, so it's even more imperative that you play your guys. And it used to be a buildup of 1 quarter first game, 2 quarters second game, play into the 3rd quarter your 3rd game. You've got to get your reps. If Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes are out there getting their reps in preseason, then you need to be getting more reps than those guys every single year. If it's good enough for Hall of Famers, if it's good enough for Super Bowl champions, it needs to be good enough for teams that are striving to get to that mountaintop that haven't been there for a long ass time. So that's certainly one of my top keys to be ready for the regular season. Number 2, you got to split your division at minimum. Love to see him take 4-2, 4-6, 5-6. That would be great. Not getting greedy, but at minimum, you got to split your division. They certainly had every opportunity last year and just continued to fall short time and time again. And then number 1, this goes with my not resting my starters in number 3, because you have to be ready to win week 1. You cannot slip on the banana peel at home against your division rival. It all ties in together, 1 through 3. You take down one of your divisional opponents. You're ready for the season. You make a statement. Yes, you won last year, week 1 against the Titans. Didn't look pretty. You got to play some foot. You got to execute at a higher level. You got to make sure that J.J. McCarthy is not comfortable in his first career start, and the Chicago Bears have to win week 1. Home game, division game, statement game. Got to win. Set the tone for the regular season.
Yeah, I wouldn't quibble with anything that you said, with the exception of number 1.
Yeah, I do like that after 50 minutes of talking about toughness, you desire to win pretty.
What do you mean?
I just think that the contrast there is kind of funny.
What happens if they play like a great game in week 1? Caleb throws for 348 yards and you lose 28-27.
Yeah.
Would the season be over?
Well, the reason you got to win week 1 is guess who you play week 2 on the road?
I understand.
The Lions.
They were 4-2 last year. It's a 17-game
I understand.
season.
I understand.
If you start the year 0-2, you could still finish 15-2.
And how many divisional games did they start in those first 6 games?
None.
And you've got divisional games in your first 2 games out the gate this year. So you cannot...
Okay, how's this? They lose to Minnesota, and then they go up and beat Detroit. Is the season over?
Well, we can play 1,000 different hypotheticals, but the bottom line is you can't lose division games at home. That already puts you behind the 8 ball for the season. You got to win your home games. Got to win your division games. You got to at least split. You can't start out 0-1, or it makes your margin of error that much smaller for the season.
Do you know why I'm pushing back on this? Do you understand why?
Because you're an idiot.
No. Because I don't
want this show to go
because
an hour
I don't
want
to lose you for the season after week 1. If they lose on Monday night, you will show up on Tuesday with a smile on your face.
Not.
Yes, you will.
Who's getting fired week 1?
We'll find out. Stay tuned for the post game show.
Papa John.
All right, who's next? Patrick, you want to go?
Mark Carman's getting fired week 1 if the Bears lose.
I'm not really.
I'm gonna go 1 to 5. O-line health is a huge thing. It's kind of like a you go, we go. And if the depth, in my opinion, has taken a step back on the offensive line, you need Jonah Jackson to be healthy all year. And that's far from a guarantee. You need pretty much everybody on that line to be healthy all year. And all of those people, or all of those guys have had injuries in the past or things that could go wrong. We don't even know who the left tackle is going to be at this point. Number 2, strong special teams. That goes for Cairo Santos. That goes for you're losing Jack Sanborn. That goes for who's going to be your punt returner. It's probably going to be Devin Duvernay at this point. You're going to have close games this year. You had them last year. You're going to inevitably have them this year. You can't have a game come down to the fact that, we forgot who to put in the middle and this guy was too low. And, we shouldn't be able to tell within about 10 minutes of a game happening or a game ending why a field goal was blocked at the end of it. That's my opinion. Mm-hmm. Number 3, Tremaine Edmonds having a big season. That's got to happen for him. That's got to happen for this team. That's got to happen for this defense. Tremaine Edmonds isn't technically in a contract year. He's kind of in a contract year. Bears can get out of it at the end of this year if they so please. I wouldn't say that he's been incredibly disappointing, but there's an expectation for more. It wasn't really up to him how much the Bears were going to offer him in free agency 3 years ago or 2 years ago. But it would be a good one for him to play up to that level. Number 4, secondary health, and also getting Kyler Gordon on the field as much as or as often as possible. We had heard Dennis Allen talk about him maybe getting reps at safety or in other positions in that secondary throughout the year just to keep him in the rotation longer. His snap count was high last year. It was still in the 80% or somewhere around 80% on defense. But Kyler Gordon is an integral piece of this defense and needs to be on the field just about every play. And that was not the case last year. And then number 5, arguably the most important, I should have ranked this number 1, is you got to keep things in-house. Too many things were coming out of, this player said this about this coach or, they want more accountability. Don't tell us, tell your coaches. That also goes for DJ Moore saying, or not DJ Moore saying, but DJ Moore expressing things on the field. And obviously that's a part of his character, but even he pointed it out recently in minicamp and said, yeah, it came up once so far this offseason. We got to nip that in the bud. We had a conversation about it. That's over and done with. If they keep things in-house, if they can address them with the staff as things pop up, then you are in better then you're in better health as a locker room. Obviously, that is not beneficial to our jobs if they don't, or if they keep everything in house.
I disagree. Talk to me. I will make it better. Just call Carm. That would be a key.
Big time. Yeah. Call Carm. Invite him to your house for a couple of days. That would be great.
That's right. Become friends.
But it becomes an overall detriment to the team when all of that stuff gets out.
It's one of my biggest pet peeves of last year, no question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's not going to happen. This is an in-house Bears Ben Johnson led team. That is so 2024. We're moving to 2025. Good list. I went very basic the way I wrote this out, as in I did it late. So therefore I just have names for you, and now I'm going to expand because they're all brilliant. Number 5. Listen, the Rome Odunze thing is kind of a combination with DJ Moore, but the Bears do have to unlock their wide receiver room. Rome Odunze does. If the Bears are gonna be good this year, the dude's got to be taking a major step forward. The chemistry's got to be there. They got to be on time. I'll get to Caleb in a second here because obviously he's number 1 on this list. There is no doubt that he's number 1. But Rome Odunze being a top 10 draft pick, looking like it in year 2, I think is a huge key to that offense. Montez Sweat. Can't come over here making $28 million in now your second full season here. Last year was injured. Full granted excuse, whatever. Did his best to stay on the field, was not effective. Needs to be massively effective this year. I love the fact that he started out the year going to OTAs because he had the down year last year. But he had 12.5 sacks combined with the Commanders and the Bears the year he came over. Led Washington, led the Bears. Needs to do, let's get that 12.5 plus here. Montez Sweat, big year. That is a huge key to the season and key to making that defensive line unlocked. Now, that's why I put Dennis Allen in here. I just think, look, there's a big concern about Matt Eberflus. The only concern about Matt Eberflus leaving is that Flus knew how to do the defense. Well, as we get into the overtime hour here, ALLCHGO.com is a great place to become a diehard. And we thank you to all the people that were just watching on TV that are now sticking with us on YouTube. Look, Dennis Allen figuring out how to use this defense, how to put Gervon Dexter in the best position to succeed, who is playing opposite of Montez Sweat, how is he going to employ Dayo Odangbo? Is Austin Booker in the mix? The Kyler Gordon thing that you're talking about, rumors of him going over and playing safety. How are you going to maximize the potential of this defense to play aggressive? Jalen Johnson now trailing top wide receivers. However, I just feel like Dennis Allen figuring out whatever has been missing from this defense to get to the quarterback, that to me is a huge key to the season. Number 2 on this list that is brilliant by me that I am now forgetting and I am looking for on the screen from my guy Steven. That's right. It's the run game. Absolutely. Look, you cannot put all of this on Caleb. He has to be able to get down under center, get the snap, and DeAndre Swift, Kyle Monangai, Roshan Johnson, Ian Wheeler. I feel like a little bit redundant to what we were talking about yesterday, but that run game has to be there.
Yep.
There's no way that he's going to drop back 75-80% of the time and the Bears are going to be successful. That is a recipe for disaster. That is a recipe for failure. The run game has to be going. And, of course, number 1 is Caleb. I saw it in the chat earlier, and it was a great point. I forget who said it, my bad. But the number 1 thing with Caleb is, right, for me, to get this thing off the ground, going where it needs to go, he's got to take the layups. The 5-yard out, screen, whatever you want to call it, wide open players right in front of your face that will move the needle and not go backwards, go forwards, that needs to be hit on a much, much higher rate than was hit on last year. Forget about the deep ball and his deep ball accuracy. Hopefully that'll come in time, but I'm not worried about that right now. If you could just be functional as far as playing closer to on time, getting the ball out, getting in good rhythm with DJ, getting in a good rhythm with Rum, understanding the offense, partnering with Ben, taking the layups, I think the offense will start to move. You've got a lot of weapons here, and you've got a very sophisticated, intelligent Ben Johnson calling plays that should line up with your talents. Shout out to you, Declan Doyle, too. But Caleb has got, if he can do that, and it doesn't have to be a massive leap, but a nice, solid, incremental, starting here and raising it up, and then, I don't know, midseason they're hitting some big-time balls, and he can be rolling out to the left, throwing across his body, and bang, hitting whoever for a 40-yard burst down the middle. Maybe it's even my guy Tyler Scott. That'd be sweet. But as long as, if Caleb can just start out hitting the layups and moving forward here, the offense, I think, will start to sing, and that, to me, is just the biggest key to the Chicago Bears 2025.
Big time.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Look at us go.
Look at us.
I have nothing left. Is the show over? I really don't. I'd actually like to do another hour with you guys. You want to stay on as long as the Hawks are going, just compete against them and try to see if we can ever pass their numbers?
I think Hawks ended.
Well, you
30
did do
minutes
your
ago.
you did do
Oh,
your
you did?
top 5 media members.
Oh, I did. I wrote those down. You want to
Yeah.
play in that game too?
Yeah, I already put mine in here.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
You have 5 of your own.
yeah.
First off, I'm looking at that list. That doesn't count. You have a lot of ands.
Well, that's okay. I do
No,
what I
that-
want.
that's-
I make
that-
my
that's
own
your top
rules.
8. That's your top 8.
I make my own rules, Patrick.
So who asked for it? My guy Donnie did, right? My favorite person in the chat who sings me out every day. Donnie, you're the man. You wanted the top five toughest media members. Look at that. Is that
Toughest media members.
toughest? What'd you say?
Oh, I just saw you put in here top 5 media members. I didn't see toughest.
No, it's toughest. You can redo your list. I'll go first. Toughest media members. Now, by the way, is my head on that goat's ass or is that on the face? Can we look
Hold
at
on,
that
go
in a
back.
little bit?
Yeah.
'Cause-
Where's this at?
'cause I know
It's at the bottom.
I know Donnie's got my back here, but
Yeah.
that is the face.
That
Looks
is the
like
face.
the ass.
Now, kind of looks like the ass, though, doesn't it?
It does. That's
Well,
a thick,
it looks like
that'd be
the
a
ass
thick
because
tail.
of the
Yeah.
face.
No, and Steven, we have that video too. You got that? Yeah, we have a great video that's Crystal reminded us of. Thank you so much, Crystal. All right, so top 5 toughest media members. Donnie, my man. Well, one I'm going to give to Brad Biggs, who's been there the longest, has been doing this. He's crusty, he's surly, he doesn't really want to talk to you unless he's in a great mood. I've known Biggs forever. I enjoy the Biggs, but
You got Biggs timed at the combine.
I mean, he goes to the beat of his own Biggs. He's been there. He's been doing it, and you got to give him respect for just the sheer tenure and obviously his contacts and everything that he can tap into. Brad Biggs is on that list. Hub Arkish, you're probably number 1 on my list, but I'm talking about you now. Look, the dude nearly died at Hallis Hall. Shout out Bear Security for saving Hub's life, and still to this day he's showing up there covering the team. That is absolutely Chicago Bears tough by Hub, and obviously a great football mind, and he's been doing it forever. So shout out Hub, you're on that toughest list. From there, you got to shout out some of the women that cover the team. Caitlin Sharkey is a straight out athlete and looks like not only is she spot on tough with her coverage, but just somebody that is not, you're not going to mess with Sharkey. So she's on this list. You're right, 100%. And then don't mess with Cronin either. Courtney Cronin, I don't know. She's doing ESPN at night. She's on TV in the day. She's covering the Bears here nonstop, never complains. You want to come on this show? Absolutely. Raising the bar for just doing a ton with women and covering the sports. Courtney is, and then don't mess with her at a press conference. You want to try to get in a question over Cronin? Good luck. She's not messing around. So Cronin belongs on this list, right?
Also tough on this list because she does have to sit next to me in the Hallis Hall media room, and that's a tough gig for anybody.
That's an unfortunate development for Cronin right there. She probably has complained to Bears management. I would expect for you to have a new spot.
Fair enough.
Number 1 on the list. He's at the end of his career. He just took the buyout at the Sun-Times. But Rick Tellner is on my list, man. The dude was a cornerback for the Northwestern Wildcats. In high school, I played on a intramural or whatever you want to call it. It was at the Multiplex, this health club that's no longer in existence, where the Bulls used to practice. Tellner and I were on the same 4-on-4 basketball team. That guy was horrible. Couldn't make a shot, couldn't make a layup, but he'd throw his body around like a complete lunatic. And then he goes out and he's writing forever. You played in the NFL. You played rec league hoops. You did it for this long. Rick Tellender, you are on my top 5 toughest Chicago Bears media list.
Very good. Very good.
Got
I
anybody?
didn't have toughest list. I just put top 5 media all time.
When I think tough, I definitely think of...
Yeah. So I just did top 5 media of all time in my lifetime. Number 1, because I don't care if I do 5 to 1. Number 1 to 5, it doesn't matter. They're all number 1 in my book.
Tough guy.
Mike North is definitely on this list. He is on the Mount Rushmore of Chicago sports radio, along with Danny Mac. We've had him in studio here. Danny Mac.
Mac tried to fight Harry. That was tough. North he throws some stuff around too.
North when he cussed out one of the McCaskies on the air. Right?
Went and asked Pat Riley if he'd shave his head, and then they threw him out, took his media credential. You want to throw that in the tough category? I got no problem with that.
Yeah, so those two guys, to me, are on the Mount Rushmore, at least mine. Underappreciated show in the early 2000s, Murph and Fred. Murph and Fred were great. Don't give me that look.
I'm giving you that look.
Don't give me that look. I loved Murph and Fred. They were a great show, especially
honest, I don't know who
in the
Murph and Fred
Cubs.
are.
Oh, they were great.
Mike Murphy by himself.
Mike Murphy and
Hold on.
Fred Hubner. They were excellent together.
When the score started way back in the day, they did not have a nighttime signal, and Murph would come on in the summer hours because like literally when it went dark in the wintertime, he wouldn't be on, and then Murph would come on and his show would be like 38 minutes until it was nighttime, and he would talk Cubs better than anybody.
That's why I love him.
Yeah,
because Murph and Fred, especially in the 2003 run for the Cubs, that was like for me like must-listen radio because all they did was talk about the Cubs the entire time.
The combo situation never completely took off for me, but
I thought they were great.
They did a good show. You're absolutely right.
Waddle and Sylvie, obviously, still running to this
And
day.
Yes.
I mean, they're one of the longest running afternoon shows ever in Chicago sports.
And
maybe they are at this point.
If you're talking about toughness too, I mean, Sylvie dealt with cancer. Waddle was just was on the list for the Bears, so that's a double fit there for those two.
Yep. And then my final two, Jeff Dickerson and Zach Zaidman. They're two guys that are sorely missed on the Bears beat. Obviously, Jeff Dickerson lost his life, and we all, miss him very much and everything that JD brought to the table. And Zach Zaidman, those two guys, Zaidman now, calls Cubs games and stuff, but he'd always give you the Zaidman nuggets each week. And I just miss both those guys so much on the Bears beat. And one of the things I always like to do at training camp was to try to get those two to fight. Like we would be in the stands and we'd rile them up and go like, who would win in a fight? And would they be always standing next to each other?
I'm shocked you would do that.
Yeah, no. And then everybody in the stands would have their opinion. Then we'd like try to pressure them into, having a little wrestling match out there. We'd stir it up out there.
Yeah.
I probably left off. I shouldn't have left off Les Grobstein.
Grobber is a great ad there. I used to produce Les's overnight show when I started out. The guy, I mean, it was unbelievable. He'd work. What was it? Sometimes he would have to start after whatever game they had on ended. So he would be going on at like 11 after the post game, or even like 10 something, and he would go until 5 in the morning. And then he'd do whatever he did, and somehow he'd be back at the Cubs covering the game at maybe even get there early at noon before the Cubs took his credential away because he was selling media guides. Mm-hmm. Whoops! I probably didn't need to mention that detail. These things happen. So, at any rate, Les was Grobber tough, man, and Les was a great dude.
You're pretty tough yourself, fighting your way through the media here the last 25, 30 years, 40.
May I? If I had a top five, I think Hogue and Carm are both on there for having to put up with you every day.
Oh, really?
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yes. No, he's a dream. Look at him.
Yeah.
He's only threatened to kill
I
me.
liked him until he made that statement.
Show it off. Your daughter did that, so I'm not going to make fun of you for it. Yeah. We'll do it off air. Yeah. These two, obviously, Courtney, I would also like to just take a quick shot at Chris Emma because he got a free one in on me last week.
Okay.
About Kyle Manungai. Talk about not tough. One person, it might have been Herb, who made fun of his shoes at day one of the draft. Dirty shoes, dirty, sneakers, whatever. What does Emma do between the first or between whatever it was? It was day 2 of the draft. What does he do between the time that we get there and by the time that the Bears make their first pick? He left Hallis, goes to Dick's Sporting Goods, buys a new pair of shoes because he didn't want to be known as the dirty shoe guy.
Wow, what a bold move by Emmett. That's tough.
That's not tough. That's being soft. That's letting people get to you.
Well, yeah, that's
I love him.
The guy that searches for a solution. Anybody else you want to throw in there? Because I see Steven's about to kill us. That we're going 10 minutes long here. Oh, are you good? We're good.
I got nothing.
No, that's it. Okay.
Top 5 toughest producers.
Steven.
I would. Katie, number 1.
Okay.
Sarah number 2.
I can't take you seriously with that haircut.
The ghost of Joey Spathis, number 3.
That's a good one.
Probably need to get Joey back out to the softball crew.
Shane Reardon, tougher than you, Steven?
No.
Okay, that's an odd way to end the show. But hey, thank you so much.
I'm just saying, toughest producers of all time.
No, fair enough. Hey, listen, I'm not messing with Steven ever in any lifetime. This one, or hopefully the next one that I have coming. Let's raise the bar. Odd way to end the show once again. $10 from Robert Lee on the Super Chat. Just a shout out to our guys at CHGO getting us through the dog days of summer. Go Bears. Greg kind of extorted me for the Super Chat. LOL, just joking. You did again?
Yeah, in the chat. He was like, oh, my job is done. He hit the like button. I was like, your job is not done. We need a Super Chat. We didn't have a Super Chat today, so shout out to Robert Lee for coming through in the clutch. Crystal, of course, didn't. And
no, but Crystal actually did come through. So we have a special video. This was for you,
she
Greg.
did come through.
We wanted to save the best for last. And last night after the softball game, which of course we lost, this is a little bit of an odd start to this, Crystal, but you were talking mid-sentence, and that's when I turned on the recorder here because I had to follow up because she was upset with something.
About what I was talking to you about. And I messaged him so that we and him can link up so I could talk to him. And he's not responding back.
Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about Braggs.
And
Greg Braggs.
He's dodging you?
Yes.
You think it's personal?
I'm taking it very personal. Very, very personal at this point.
Do we win tonight?
No, we didn't. It's okay, though. It's okay.
When you think of losers, who do you think of?
Braggs.
Thank you.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. I don't know how I'm ghosting Crystal.
Why are you ghosting Crystal?
I don't know how I'm ghosting Crystal. I don't know why. But now I know why, because of what she just said right there. Let me look. I mean, come on, Crystal. Jeez.
Listen, she was literally and Crystal's in a great mood. She's straight dominating, and and you're making her life less glorious.
Steven Mubbs wants to be unblocked from the CHGO chat. Mubbs says he's sorry.
What did Mubbs do?
I don't know. He said he wants to be let out of the doghouse.
What'd you do, Mubbs?
He just messaged me. So he wants out.
I don't think I did that. I'd have
maybe
to ask.
somebody else did. You know,
I asked where Mubbs
we
has
had
been.
we had a different producer on Friday, obviously.
Oh,
Sean. I don't know if Mubbs got it. I don't think Mubbs got it on Friday, but Sean did have an itchy trigger finger on Friday. He was blocking.
I love that about Sean.
So you got to be careful. Steven's not always producing. We are used to you guys' razzing, but you got to be careful. So I'm looking for Crystal. See, the problem, Crystal, is I stopped responding to people in my Twitter DMs. I used to be very good about this, but I've kind of given up on it. There it is. Oh, I see.
You apologize.
Okay,
and
I'm
you do
sorry.
that.
She's right. I have.
Thank you.
And you know what? You should know something about me. I have on my text messages 250 unread text messages. So this is kind of how things go.
Must
You're
be
a
great.
phone call guy. You don't.
I'm
do
a
the- you
phone
don't do
call
the texting.
guy. I don't like
he
texting.
is a phone call guy.
Yeah, I don't like texting. You got to call me because I'll respond in my head, but then I won't respond in
He
actuality.
doesn't know how to write.
Yeah, that's true.
I will plead the fifth.
I'm a prognosticator when it comes to
He is.
when it comes to getting text back. But I'll get back to you, Crystal. I apologize. I didn't see this because I stopped looking at my Twitter DMs when people were harassing me.
All right,
Yeah.
funniest comment I saw today was from Julio Vasquez. Why does Patrick's long sleeve shirt does not continue the stripe pattern to his wrist?
I don't
Yeah,
get
it took me a second to get it.
I don't get it.
It's
because he's
it's
so-
because I'm so pale.
Yeah,
it.
that's hilarious.
I am. Look,
it's the same
bad.
color.
But I'm just saying,
wearing.
Steven is also
This is not-
very
Nope.
pale.
Oh, no, I got a tan.
Oh, look at
I'm
this guy.
tan
He
now.
gets a little tan, and now he's attacking his fellow pale friends.
I will be on vacation next week, and I'm also probably not going to get much of a tan. I once came back and said this is the most tan that I've ever been, and someone said you look the exact same.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just how it works.
Okay.
Yeah, you are. You put the PASTNY in pasty. And are we doing it?
The P stands for pasty.
Gregory P.
And we got Smackums here saying Braggs looks like a middle-aged Caillou. Go ahead, take the hat off.
We'll make it smaller so it like.
There it is.
That was good.
Thank you.
Hey, somehow we did this entire show without. I'm pointing the thumb at myself here. The NFL news of the day was tight end Darren Waller coming out of retirement.
No
He's
one
going to
cares.
the Dolphins. Giants are getting a 6th-round pick back for him. So, as to what we talked about yesterday, Cole Kmet's going nowhere. Be with the Chicago Bears, and that's how we wrap this one up. We're back tomorrow. It's Tyson Bagent Wednesday.
Carm's gonna do the whole show with his shirt off as he squeezes his nipples.
I do have a.
Like the guy in Waterboy.
I do have a special outfit for tomorrow. That's true. It won't be that. Okay. We're back tomorrow. Thanks to Patrick for sitting in today. Get on the website, allchgo.com. There's a ton of great stuff that Patrick's a part of, including the Bajan piece was coming out tomorrow that I've got to do some work on today. It'll be out by noon tomorrow. And Steven, thank you for producing. Thanks for watching. That was a ton of fun today. We'll see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.